Hey guys, Justin at Vintage 55 Restorations, another episode of Vintage 55 Garage. I got a cool mini bike to show you guys. I know I've had a lot of two-wheel stuff lately, and this is Ellie, who's in so many other videos, but she's creeping into the picture. She wanted to be my assistant today, so she'll show you something in a minute. So this awesome bike, Trailblazer, it's actually called a Blazer, and it was very confusing. So I'll tell you why, though. So the Blazer mini bike, technically, but they got separated into two different models, the Trailblazer and the Super Blazer. Hey, you want to show him that picture? So if you look at this old ad, this one says Trailblazer on the side, like ours. It's a different font, though. And this one says Super Blazer. And then if you look at these original ads, these ones just say Blazer. There's no Super or Trail. So it's kind of confusing, but the story is a little more simple. You can take that. So they were based, if somebody goes, oh, that's a Tote Goat, it looks a lot like a Tote Goat because the frame is a Tote Goat frame. The guy who started Tote Goat, Ralph Bonham, it was his brother, I think, relatives of some sort, took a bunch of frames and decided to make their own mini bike with it. And so in 1959 to 1960, these were made, these Blazers. And then they were not made for 4 years, and then they started making them again from 64 to 67. There's a slight difference. Will you calm down, you? So 59 to 60 was produced in Salt Lake City, Utah. And those were the American ones, the first ones. And then they were actually made in Japan and shipped back from 64 to 67. The difference that you can figure out which one yours is, if you have them, is this hub and the wheels and the brake controller are all different. They're all better on the Japanese ones. The early 59 to 60 ones were real basic. And then also, right underneath here, you can't see it, but underneath, it says Japan, and it's stamped in there. And most of the parts are interchangeable, so you might have a Frankenstein. But so other than the stamping of Japan, the improved wheels and bearings, the suspension and brake on the front, they're basically the same. So there is another just full Trailblazer, one-word mini bike. And they don't look like this at all, but they are mini bikes. And those were made by General Appliance. It's a totally different company, which makes it even more confusing. But it's not a different model. It's just a totally different bike. And those were made after. So the Trailblazer versus the Super Blazer, from what I've found, is the Trailblazer has a 3-horsepower Briggs, went up to 25 miles an hour, and was 135 pounds. The Super Blazer had a 4 3/4 horsepower Briggs, up to 40 miles an hour, 155 pounds. So Super was just a bigger one. The Trail was the smaller one, and I think that just the Blazer was the first year where there was only one motor, I think. So the engine that's in here now, if you notice, isn't even a Briggs. It's a Kohler, and so that was swapped in at some point by somebody who had it in the past, and this is a 8.5. So this is actually bigger than the big one of the original ones. So this thing actually flies. So it's belt driven that goes to a transmission. A gear that changes the ratio, a ratio gear that is then driven by a chain that goes back to the back axle. So it's got a whole lot of torque. And then on this side, there's a cover. This is your chain and belt cover. And then there's a shifter, but it's not a shifter. This is an automatic bike. This is just a in-gear, in neutral lever. I love the grandpa exhaust made out of old plumbing, but if it works, it works. And this tank also is not original. The original Briggs would have had a gas tank that sat up in here. And this one was made by this guy and put on here, which I actually like. This seat also is not original. I have a new seat in the upholstery shop right now that's getting done. It's going to be red and black, and it's a small seat like this, like the original. And then there was a 2-up seat that you could put in the back. So I have a second seat, so it'll be split into 2. And why you want that if you can look on here, is because the original seat would have only been back to here. And then this was mesh, so you could use it basically as a pickup bed. And that's what these holes, which I thought were just cool styling holes, are actually just for bungee cords to go over. And you could buy bungee cords as an aftermarket add-on to these bikes. In those old ads, you can pay extra, and they called them like retaining straps or something, but they're bungee cords. And so that that's pretty cool. Will you stop? You're very distracting over there. So this, like I said, this seat is not original, so it doesn't sit on there well. The front wheel is basically a street tire, and the back one is a bigger wheel with a big chunky tire on it, because these are trail bikes. The that ad, what did it say? Get there first with Trailblazer. Has all the features to make it. And the fastest, most powerful trail bike. Goes anywhere, does anything faster with 2-speed transmission. Compare the features, compare the price. You'll go with Blazer. So the whole thing was, you won't get stopped where other mini bikes would stop. And the idea of the original Tote Goat was a hunter that's too lazy to drag everything back at the end, or too tired. Not lazy, but so he wanted to make something that he could pack a deer back with. And so that's what the Tote Goat was, with the rear. That had a longer bed, so you could strap a whole deer on it. All the Tote Goat advertising and the Trailblazer advertising says can carry a man and up to 400 pounds extra. So that's the whole point, is to get on this and be able to drag a deer back, no problem, through the woods without getting stuck and without having to walk. So it's kind of cool. Not street legal, obviously, but this is going to be our new little camping rig for campgrounds. And yeah, I just think that's so cool that somebody, thought of something like that to do, for a simple solution of, I don't want to bring a horse out into the woods. I can't fit a car. Dirt bikes keep falling over. So you made something special design, But last thing, I guess, this had a front brake too on the other grip, but I took it off because it was broken, and I didn't want to make a new cable, and I didn't want another cable, and I don't need a front brake. But so this is, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this is the Japanese one. So this is a 64 to 66. There's no way of determining which year within that it is. But so this is the Japanese mid-60s version, which is the better one, which is cool. But it would have been cool to have a really, really, really early mini bike, because they really didn't start until about 1960. But and then these are all floppy, which I thought were broken, but those are just for the same reason. On a trail, you don't want to get caught on a root or something and tip yourself over, so they can move on you. And then it's got the bottom double kickstand, so you don't have to lean it against something in the dirt and have it tip over and roll down a hill on you. But you like this bike, Allie? You like this bike? You want to go for a ride?
Yeah.
Why are you so giggly? Hey, hop on. You coming too, Bo? Nobody's going. Hold on. It's like 35 degrees here right now, so it goes, I promise. But it'll go next time. Justin to Vintage 55. See you guys later.
See ya.
I got it.